Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Morning Show with your hosts, Wayne and Gabby.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, real estate investors, and welcome to the Canadian Real Estate Investing Morning Show. On today's show, we're going to be talking about should you hire a property manager for your rental properties. I'm going to give you a bit of a spoiler alert. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sharing how we don't. Now, it might be a little one-sided, and I'm very clear and transparent about my feelings, and that I do not hate property management companies at all. I think they're great for some people, but I think that by the end of today's episode, you'll have a good idea of whether you should or you shouldn't, or maybe there's a better way. Maybe there's a more efficient way for you to do this that's going to put more money in your pocket, and I'm talking thousands of dollars back in your pocket every year by self-managing your properties yourself. It might sound a little scary, though.
Yeah, I think that choosing to self-manage our properties probably was the scariest decision, for at least for me. But once we really developed the systems and put it all into place, I think that it's probably one of the big reasons why we are so successful today. And it really it broke it all down and just made it so much simpler to be able to handle.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll explain that later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I was trying to
We got one. Yeah, I know you want to dive right into it. We got one hell of a show planned for you guys today, and it's the last show of the week. It's the last show of the week, and then just a heads up, we're not going to be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. We are right after the show. We're literally dropping off the dogs, and we're hopping on a plane, and we're going to Vancouver for the weekend. So we're gonna spend some family time together, try to enjoy the last of the summer, and then we'll be back next Thursday and get right back into it. But let us know what you guys are up to. If you guys are here live with us on YouTube, we broadcast the show live every weekday morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. You can come and join us. You can come and join us and be a part of the conversation if you are a real estate investor or you want to be a real estate investor. Additionally, any questions you have, just put them in the chat. Be a part of the conversation. If you have any questions that you'd like us to answer on the show, you can just email us at info@reimorningshow.com. We'll answer your questions live on the show, give you that confidence, give you that clarity to be able to go out and take action. Yeah. All right. So, any other news before we dive into this, Gabby?
I hate it when you ask me that. You put me on the spot. I'm like, what kind of news? We had a few people sign up for the bus tour yesterday. So I haven't checked, but there's probably a couple seats available maybe. Yeah. So if you're wanting to come out to the Edmonton Real Estate Investing Bus Tour put on by ourselves, REI Masters, this is probably your last chance. Yeah. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. There's no extra seats. There's no extra buses. This is like your last chance. And it's there's always a few left towards the end there. And I'm just like, guys, as soon as it's gone, it's gone. Yeah. And it's such a great time, the Edmonton Real Estate Investing Bus Tour. And we're going to have a great picnic afterwards with burgers and fries. And it's going to be, you're going to learn so much. Two of the properties are actually ours. So you get to see our properties. We decided we will go a little bit different this time. We're going to be showing you guys more of our properties and our decisions. So that way you can see inside our minds on exactly why we chose this property, how we chose it, how we financed it, how we put it all together, how we choose the tenants, what we're building, why we're building it, everything you need to know to get in the minds of Wayne and Gabby to be able to see and think like, true successful real estate investors. So it's going to be a great opportunity for you guys. And it's going to be a lot of fun too. It's family friendly. There's going to be lots of kids there, which is great too. I thoroughly wholeheartedly believe that kids should be a part of this. They should learn through your journey, so that way they have the tools and the knowledge to be able to pass. You don't just pass on money, you got to pass on wisdom and knowledge as well. And this is how they learn, is through exposure, through learning. So we always make our events family friendly, so that way you can bring your kids, they can learn lots, and then hopefully, when they get of age and maybe you do pass some money down to them, they'll continue on this journey and continue to keep building off, this legacy.
And if you guys were at the last bus tour, the kids' scavenger hunt is returning.
Is it?
Yes.
So it's going to be a scavenger hunt for the kids as well. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of
think
fun.
the kids had more fun at the last bus tour than the adults did.
I think I had more fun than everybody. I love that stuff. I love, and don't get me wrong, like I'm going to deliver on the education and the wisdom, but I want to make sure the kids have fun too. Yeah. So, and it'll be a safe space. So that's,
I see everybody saying good morning in the live chat here on YouTube. So good morning to all of you guys too. Yes. If you are live with us, please say hello so that we know you're here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so today we are talking about our own portfolio. We're going to be talking about why we choose to self-manage our properties as opposed to hiring a property manager. This came with lots of thought and consideration. This came after lots of experiences, early on, managing our properties and going out and doing everything ourselves. It was a lot of work, and there was a lot of stress and a lot of bad experiences. And that's why I said it could feel a little bit scary to be like, oh, I don't think I can self-manage my own properties. I think I should hire a property manager because I'm just not built for this. And I promise you, nobody is built for this originally. Yeah. Nobody really, everything you're feeling is completely accurate. Mm-hmm. And it's exactly how we felt early on too. It's exactly how Gabby felt when I told her we're going to be real estate investors. And all that she could think about was that, like, I don't want to deal with this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that just like anything in life, the fear of the unknown is terrifying. Yeah. Like you think of all of the worst case scenarios and you don't know how to deal with them. Right. So it's like through experience and through gaining knowledge and understanding how to deal with all the different situations that can happen with being a landlord. Once you experience those things, you're like, oh, okay, this is how you deal with that. This is how you deal with this other thing. And once you build that knowledge, it's like, and experience it, it's like, oh, okay, I know what to do next time. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, now I know what to do in this situation. And you build this like database of understanding how the system works, how to navigate it, how to go through all these things. And next thing you know, you're comfortable in the role and you know what to do and you know how to deal with anything that's going to come up. And so that really helps to settle things down. But certainly when we started, this was like the worst thing that Wayne could have ever done to me was turn me into a landlord. I was like, this is literally a nightmare, like an absolute nightmare. This is not who I am or what I want to be doing or the type of thing that I'm capable of. And it was really hard to get past that like learning hump and learning how to navigate the situations that come up.
Well, you said, I am not a landlord. Let's be completely honest. I was not a marketing and sales guy. I wasn't a guy who had ever raised, $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, let alone $1. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you were there by choice.
Okay.
You had made the decision, this is what we're going to do. We're going to figure it out, right? So you made that decision and you were like, okay, well, we can figure this out. We'll navigate this. Me, it was like, how did I end up here? Hey, why is this happening to me?
You chose me.
Right?
You should have read the fine print. So
you changed, man. You changed.
For the better? Aren't we supposed to? Aren't we supposed to get better?
100%.
So let me know, guys, if you guys are here live with us. Let me know. Is it you or is it your spouse? Which one of you?
Or are you in this alone?
Is it you or is it your spouse? Which one of you is the one that's pushing for this? And which one is the one that doesn't want to do this? Mm. Because it is so incredibly rare that there is a dynamic, there is a couple, there's a partnership of
like deciding to do it together.
It is so incredibly rare. Mm. I've yet to. I don't think I've actually met. Well, maybe, but I want to know maybe like because I don't know who came up with it first. It's so rare for like. Two people at the same time watching the same commercial on TV being like, we should do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always one person that's like, eh.
Yeah. Well, and I think with a lot of couples also, there's like, usually when two people come together, it's like somebody who's like more open to risk and to, like that more like entrepreneurial spirit. And then somebody who's like a lot more reserved and a lot more like, just like following the path of what we're supposed to do in life. Right. And so I feel like those two people always find each other.
Yeah.
And so, of course, probably the one that's more like, hey, let's take a little bit of risk and like make this life wonderful is probably the person who found real estate investing.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
In the comments here, Craig says, I push and my wife fears the unknown. The unknown is the scariest thing in the world. 100%. And that was me. Yeah. But that was me. Right. And so I feel like in the beginning of the journey, there was, I feel like in the beginning, it was like, okay, we have one property. How are we going to manage this? You need to figure everything out. And then finally, when you're like, okay, I have a handle on this, it's like, how on earth are we going to manage 3 properties?
We can't multiply this. It's like twice or 3 times the problems.
Yeah. And then it's like, how are we going to manage 5? Oh my God, 10? Are you kidding me? Like it always seems like, how are we going to do the next thing? How are we going to get to the next place? And I feel like eventually we experience like some burnout in that aspect of not believing that we could ever take on more. Yeah. And I really feel like that's when for us and for me, it was the realization that like we need some serious systems in place in order to support what we're doing and why we made this decision. In the comments, Manny says, me, myself, and I. So In It Alone made the decision on his own. And we're so freaking proud of you, Manny.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Who wants to partner with Manny? Just curious. Who wants to partner with Manny?
Manny's amazing and gives excellent hugs. Very important in a partnership.
Craig had a follow-up. Said, unknown is scary for everybody. You need to train yourself to take a deep breath and move forward.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And Craig he's a business owner as well. So you can understand that, a successful business owner. So obviously you've got, continuous leads coming through, but being a business owner, you do have to be comfortable with the risks of that, of not knowing, the fear of the unknown, not knowing if, customers are going to walk in the door tomorrow or not. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Will this train just eventually stop? And that's kind of the same thing with real estate investing as well. Not the same, but kind of the same, just not knowing, is this going to work out? Is the market going to do what I want it to do? Are tenants going to like this place? Is it going to sit empty? Are they going to trash the place? All those things, which seem kind of silly to us now. And for real estate investors who've been doing it a long time, they're like, that's just not even a concern for us because we understand all these things. But that's the thing. It's the unknown. When you don't understand, what you don't know scares the crap out of you because you don't know, right? Yeah. Did Kirsten say something here as well?
Yeah, Kirsten says, I started with real estate and Derek was not really on board. As soon as he saw how it actually worked, he got super excited, jumped in and never looked back. Now I find the deals and he manages the shit out of them.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so I had a coaching call with a woman yesterday, and it was the same kind of thing, is that like, early on, things can be a little bit scary, but then, so what I did with this woman yesterday is we went through the numbers, and she originally asked about, unrelated, but she'd originally asked about, can I do a BRRRR on my property? And if not, like, how do I do a BRRRR? Or like, and so as she didn't, I saw the property right away, and in my mind, I'm like, there's no BRRRR here. Because I can see it, and I don't even need to think about it. It's just like instant, you know what I mean? Because I know what I know. Yeah. But she didn't know. So I had to kind of walk through how the numbers all work and everything. I had to kind of walk through how to identify the opportunities to know whether this is something that works and all the different things you need to understand in order to know, is this a deal that could be BRRRR'd or not? And then by the end of it, it was just like everything was crystal clear for her. And she understood it. And she's like, okay, that all makes sense. When you show me the numbers, it all makes sense. And like, she had like total confidence and clarity afterwards about it. And it's the same thing with this. Like, when you're thinking about, doing your own property management, managing your own properties, it's just like, that sounds absolutely terrifying. Why wouldn't I just hire the expert, right? Why wouldn't I just pay them to do it than try and figure all this stuff out? Because I'm going to mess this up and it's going to ruin my life. Mm-hmm. But there are reasons. I mean, like for some people, managing your own properties, I think it makes sense. I think for some people, they should. And I'm struggling with how I want to say this, but if you believe in yourself and you're dedicated and you really, really want this, you could do it. For those that don't have that confidence, that belief in themselves, and they're never going to overcome it, then I'd rather see you hire a property manager and pay them to do it than do nothing at all. Right? So that's an individual thing, and I don't want that to come across as like judgmental. But I think that every one of us are capable. Some of us have a little more drive and determination and initiation than others. Yeah. Right? So for those that have zero drive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are people out there like that are just like, hey, I've tried, and I'm never going to do this. Then yeah, it's probably
don't have the right people around you as well.
What's that?
And they probably don't have the right people around them.
Yeah, but I mean, like for the people who are never going to overcome it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you spent 5 years on this and you still can't do this, like I can't physically do this, my body prevents me from doing it, then I would rather see you hire a property manager and pay the fee than do nothing at all. Right? But I'm saying that like 99% of people are completely capable of this. It's just you just don't know how to do it. And there's a reason why we chose to self-manage our own portfolio, because we have a massive portfolio. It's massive. It's all over Alberta. We have properties in Calgary. Like, those are 3 hours away. Most of our properties are like, I mean, they're in the same city, but like in a lot of cases, it's like 45 minutes. Yeah. Depending on the time of day, it could be longer. Yeah. Right? And to go down there for something relatively minor is a huge chunk of our time. And if you're planning on building up this business for freedom, you know what I mean? That's not freedom. Going down there and dealing with the little things is not freedom. You know, dealing with, unpaid rents and all those other things, that's not freedom. And so early on, when we didn't know what we know now, when we didn't have the systems that we built, it was absolute chaos. We were constantly reactive as opposed to proactive. There was no proactiveness whatsoever. Everything was like it came in and it was just like constant flurries of punches in the groin and in the face. And it was just like, it was unbearable. Yeah. Absolutely unbearable. Did you like that visual?
Yeah, that's good. We should clip that.
I have a 3-second delay so I can see myself on the screen afterwards. But that's what it felt like. It's just like constantly like a flurry of just like nonstop. And it's like, Gabby, she finally kind of more or less agrees to this whole real estate investing thing. And this is the first experience. And, we're building it out and like, this is, I don't know why we're doing this. This doesn't make any sense. But, there was a reason why we decided to do it. And that was mainly originally, there was 2 major reasons why we decided to manage our own portfolio as opposed to hiring a property manager. One was just money. You know what I mean? Paying a property manager is expensive. I know it doesn't seem like much, but it is expensive in the grand scheme of things. When you're paying anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a year, how much is depending on the size of your property, depending on the, how much it costs, what your investment is, that eats up a huge chunk of your profits every year.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really big. And I think anybody who's ran numbers on an investment property knows exactly what we say. Like when you add in that property management piece, it really, you start looking around and going, how am I ever supposed to cash flow? Like, does this even exist? Right?
Well, and has a lot to do with the first 5 years too. Yeah. So we talked about the 8-year hump, right? You guys probably heard me talk about
been around long enough, yeah.
You probably heard me talk about the 8-year hump. Normally, the real true profits start kicking in around the 8th year. So insert a new real estate investor, a brand new real estate investor who's never done this before, green as grass, saw some podcast guy or some guy on Instagram saying, buy real estate, that's how you get rich. They're like, okay, cool, let's put our money into this. I don't want to deal with it. Let's hire a property manager. And they hire a property manager. And then they go and look at their statements after year 2 and they're like, honey, we're at break even. that individual is the same individual that sells their property after 2 years. You know what I mean?
This doesn't work.
When I see people selling their rental properties within the first 5 years, I roll my eyes. I'm like, this person does not know what they're doing. Because that is the dumbest idea ever. So you made what? You made 20 grand in 4 years. You paid $5,000 a year in property taxes, in property management. And then you also paid $30,000 to have, or $20,000 to have your realtor sell it. Mm-hmm. So you just lost $20,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
what I see. Because when people, I can look at a situation and I can run the numbers in my head because I've done it a million times. And I've on my own properties, on analyzing properties, on helping other students and investors. I know my numbers inside out. So I can see it like, someone who's like, who gets a property manager, they're probably gonna quit within a couple of years. Mm. You know what I mean? So it is a money thing. For us, for me early on, and I wanted to make sure that I was as profitable as possible. And I also wanted to make sure that I had as much cash flow as possible to be able to make sure we're putting money in our reserves to make sure that we're always going to be able to cover all the potential things that can come up. Mm-hmm. And if my property cash flow is $300 a month and I'm paying $275 to a property manager, that doesn't leave me a whole lot of cash flow for vacancies, repairs, and maintenance.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember being really scared about that because, when we started out, like we've talked about this a lot, we didn't have money. We had a buttload of debt and we had to save and scrounge, and you worked overtime, double time to make enough money for our first down payment. Right. And so we didn't have, a nice little reserve fund sitting in our bank account for if something did go terribly wrong, if a roof needed to be replaced, if a sewer line collapsed, if a furnace went out in the middle of the winter. We didn't have money for that.
Yeah.
So when you start talking about breaking even cash flow and not building a reserve, that was scary for me. That was like a big, like, what the hell are we doing? No way. Right.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be, we shouldn't be cheap. We shouldn't be, but it comes down to cash flow and making sure that our business is running properly. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? This is like a weird example. This is the weirdest example actually. But it reminded me of something. I was in a public washroom yesterday. I was out.
Where is this going?
Well, no, I was in a public washroom yesterday and, I had to use it obviously. And I go in there and it's just like, piss stains on the floor and shit smears, and just it looked like it hadn't been cleaned in a few days. And so as I'm doing my business, I'm thinking to myself, who in this office is responsible for cleaning this stuff? I was just trying to think. I was in a tire shop. I'm like, who is responsible for cleaning this bathroom? Because it's fucking disgusting. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if I were a business owner, if I were this business owner, I really, really want this to be clean. It happened. I completely lost my train of thought. What was it? Why did I start bringing that up? Oh, trying to save money. Save money. Thank you. Sorry. I got so far down this story. I was thinking about it. And then as I'm just about done, I'm like, if I were this business owner, I wouldn't put up with this shit, literally smeared. I would hire someone to come in every night and to clean this bathroom. Because you think about it, some companies, banks, they have cleaners who come in overnight. And they do janitorial services. Yeah. And I'm just like, why isn't this company hiring somebody to do this? Because they're clearly not doing it, right? But then I thought about it, I'm like, oh, I wonder how much it costs. I wonder how much like janitorial services cost to do something like this. And so it's probably a cost thing. They're probably not doing it because it's a cost thing. And anyways, so that all kind of made me think about like this property management thing as well. Is that like sometimes it just comes down to money, right? Yeah. I had a tie in there and I lost it.
I kept thinking about was any 7-Eleven bathroom that you ever walked into ever in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it just
depending on the employee to clean that. It
comes down to money. It comes down to money at the end of the day. And so sometimes, like, I bet that business owner thought, I'm not going to pay that. I'm just going to get my employees to do it. I'll have it as part of one of their job responsibilities. And then they don't. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyways, it really just comes down to money. But the worst part about that whole story is like, I forgot how I was tying it all in, but you kind of get the point. Ultimately, when I told Gabby we were going to self-manage it and we're going to save money on it and everything else, she's like, this is not worth it. It's like, why wouldn't you just pay someone to do it? Why wouldn't you just pay the $250? Like, the dealing with this shit in our business is just not worth it. Yeah. It's just not worth it. But when you look at it from a business perspective, I'm like, I wish we could, but we can't. Because if we hire someone to do this, we are putting ourselves at extreme risk. So rather than bitching and complaining about the work, and rather than bitching and complaining about how we can't afford it, why don't we figure it out? Mm-hmm. And that's what we did. You can sit there and you can complain about it all day, or you can choose not to do anything at all, or you could figure it out. And that's when we decided we wanted to figure out. Now, there's a few other reasons why we decided to self-manage our portfolio, but obviously I got off track there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick little commercial break. I'm going to gather my thoughts. I'm going to come back to that, regroup. And then we're going to share exactly how we go about self-managing our portfolio and how we do it without ever going to any of our properties.
Real estate investors need to treat debt differently than homeowners, and at Kirkland & Brennan Mortgage Group, we understand that. For the last 11 years, we've helped real estate investors plan and build their portfolios. We understand how to help you avoid fees, penalties, getting yourself stuck, and making sure that the deal you're doing today doesn't stop the deal you want to do tomorrow. You can reach out to Keaton, Keaton, at kbmortgages.ca. Put plan on the subject line and we'll help you build a plan and then realize it for your real estate goals. We also coordinate with the other professionals like your accountant, lawyer, realtor, and we will help you build your portfolio. So reach out, we'll do our best to help. Thanks, guys.
You've got showings, lease signings, suite renos, condo board meetings, credit checks, mortgage financing, and every so often the tenant clogs the sink because they shoved macaroni down there. Stop. Breathe. Leave the bookkeeping to Fingo. Fingo is specialized real estate bookkeeping by real estate investors with tailored services for maximum returns. Save time. Enhance your returns. Claim the plumbing repair for that ridiculous macaroni fiasco. Book your free consultation at fingo.com.
Summer. While everyone's getting distracted, this is when the market gets quiet. Not because the opportunities disappear, but because the people do. Vacations, long weekends, these are the distractions I'm talking about. And that's exactly when serious investors make their moves. At Calvin Realty, this is one of our favorite windows. Less competition, more flexibility, and sellers who are actually open to negotiating. While everyone else is stepping away, we're stepping in. If you're looking to buy right, not just buy fast, this is your edge. Calvin Realty. Opportunity doesn't take time off.
All right, and we are back. So here's the other big reason, other than money. And there's a few reasons, but this is probably the biggest one for me. And that was control. My belief, I don't trust easy. I don't trust easy, and therefore, and I know a lot of you guys don't either, especially like the personality types that become real estate investors. They're typically the type of people that don't go and follow the grains of society. They want to do things on their own. They're ambitious, and they don't like what the rat race looks like and what everybody else goes and does. So they want to go in a different direction. So most of those types of individuals, people like us, are typically, I don't like the term control freak, but it's probably the one that you most relate with. Making sure that the decisions are yours and not trusting other people to make decisions in your best interest. And here's the truth. Passing off decisions to somebody else, they will not have your best interests in mind. Only you will. Right? So you want to be in control of those decisions. You want to be in control of how to handle communications. You want to be in control of how often you want your properties to be inspected, those types of things. You know who you are. I had a coaching call with someone recently, and they had a bad property management experience. Had all these arrangements with their property management company, and then they didn't do it. And then basically now they're like holding their keys hostage, and they've got a tenant that's completely trashed the place, not paying rent, and they can't even get their property back because the tenant has control over it and the property management company won't relinquish it. It's a terrible situation. Now, that I'm not saying that's going to happen with you guys. What I'm saying is that like you give out that control, it's tough to get that control back. And then, you tell someone to do something and then they don't do it the way you want to do it. that could be really difficult. So I said, no, I'm going to be in control of this.
Yeah, it's one thing to delegate tasks, which is, I think, hard for most of us, but it's another to delegate decision making and trust that they have your best interest in mind. Yeah, absolutely.
The other great thing is that, for those of you guys that are scaling your portfolios, maybe, some of you guys have one or two and you bought it yourself, great. But for those of you guys that are scaling your portfolios and raising capital for your deals, offering it up that you self-manage the properties as opposed to hiring a property manager and that being an expense is a huge value add proposition for you to your investors. And that's the value add that we offer to our personal investors, our money partners, is that we don't pay for property management. We manage it ourselves. So this way, this deal that we're doing together is actually significantly more profitable because any other deal you do with any other institution or any other investor investing with them, they're going to hire a property management company, and that's going to be $200, $300, $400, per unit, every month of profits that's going out. Now we do it ourselves. So that way our deal or our portfolio is significantly more profitable. So it's a great value add proposition. Yeah,
absolutely. And those are really just all of I feel like all of that combined, like we talked about, the money, the not wanting to relinquish control over it, making those decisions and stuff, the value add and those higher returns.
Absolutely.
It was like all kind of like a package deal to really make that decision easy for us. Scary, but easy when you look at all those things, right?
Well, then it just really comes down to how, right? Because, you realize you make the decision, and this is, again, like, me, I'm going to make that decision. I've made a decision. It's final that I'm going to manage my own properties. But when you look at it and you're like, oh my God, this is like, I'm at 3 or 4 or 5 properties. Like, there's no way I could ever do any more than this because it just compounds, it multiplies these problems, right? It can feel like I like, here's the deal. Most real estate investors will burn out. Yeah. And most of them do.
100%. More properties does equal more problems. Like, there's no way around that. More properties equals more tenants equals more problems with the property as well as problems with tenants. It's the more you scale, the more you're going to have to deal with. It's inevitable.
So all these like solutions that we're going to provide in today's episode, I just want to preface by saying that like what we're doing is we are not eliminating problems. The problems are inevitable. They exist and they are inevitable. They're going to happen. If you think that the difference between 5 properties and 10 properties is twice as many problems, you are correct.
Ding, ding, ding.
But we've established that. We've made the decision that we're going to do that. We established that we are going to buy more and more and more and more properties, but we will not let the increased amount of problems to deter us from doing that. We just need to figure out a way to be able to manage all of that and put systems together in order to solve it. Okay. So don't feel like we're saying that like we're eliminating problems. The problems that are outside of our control, problems with interest rates and problems with, the rental market and problems with tenants and toilets and those types of things, they are not solvable. They are outside of our control. But what can we focus on that we can control to eliminate and mitigate those risks as much as possible? And how can we delegate and build systems to be able to make sure that it doesn't impede or interfere with our lifestyle, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the realization that we came to, was that burnout was hitting and it was a lot to take on and a lot to figure out. And that was really the point that we realized, like, there needs to be a better way. If we are going to do this, if we are going to self-manage, we need to take control of this and put systems in place to help us I hate, the cliche balance, but to help us find balance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if this is going to be what we do for the rest of our lives and we're going to own these properties, we need to make it so that it's not an absolute nightmare every day, waking up wondering what fire we're going to have to put out today. Right. Yeah. So it's really deciding that, we need really good systems in place. What's that going to look like and how are we going to do this?
So I know this sounds fucking cliche and stupid, but please bear with me because it's real. the first step to all of this was making that decision and believing in ourselves. The first step was, it was 1000% a mindset shift to believe that we can. And most people, this is what I said earlier, if you're the person that will never do it and you don't believe that you can and you never will, then go hire a property management company. Yeah. I'm not saying that it's like that's for the losers. I'm just saying that, like, if you don't ever think that you will, I'd rather see you buy something than not buy something at all.
And by the way, that would have been me. Without Wayne, that would have been me. I would have never done this on my own. I would have never thought I was capable of doing it on my own. But I had Wayne pushing, saying, yes, we can. Like, we got this. Like, let's go.
It's there needs to be that self-confidence in yourself. Not confidence in that it'll work, but confidence in yourself of knowing that regardless, I don't know how, but I'm going to fucking figure it out. That you need that. You have to have that. Fake it however you want. I don't like, you just gotta, maybe you have a little mantra or something like that you repeat, or you get it tattooed on your arm, or whichever. Whatever you need to do, you have to find a way to have that confidence in yourself and just wake up every day and say, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out. Right? And through all of that confidence of that trial and error and that figuring it out, you will eventually learn how, and you'll build the systems to make sure that you never repeat any of your mistakes ever again. And that's how most people are going to go about doing it. You're going to try things, it's not going to work, and then that's a really easy way to find out what does work and what doesn't work. But if it doesn't work, now you know how it does work. Yeah. Just do the opposite of what you just did. Yeah. Right? Now, there are other ways. Obviously, you can listen to this podcast and you can learn, right? Or you can pay for courses in order to learn how to go about doing these things. There are ways that are easier than getting punched in the face and then learning how to not get punched in the face. Yeah. Okay. There are easier ways if you want to fast track that. But ultimately, what we decided is that we needed to build a series of systems and procedures that work together that allow us to be able to maintain control of this without interfering with our life. Okay. So through our trial and error and through watching what other people were doing and what they were doing wrong, we were able to build out these systems and these procedures for every single part of our business. Whenever something happened, this happens. If something good happened, we would do this. If something bad happened, we'd do this. And there's a constant flow chart in our business of like, what happens when this happens? What do we do? Yes or no? Which direction? Okay. To eventually get to where we need to go. And you did say that, that was a lot of me, and that was a lot of me. My ability to be able to play out different series of events in my head and see all the different outcomes to figure out which is the best, right? And early on, it was very hands-on. It was very hands-on, where we needed to be involved in every single little decision, playing it all out for 20 minutes, trying to figure out, whether... How to
drive me crazy.
How to write that email or how to deal with the situation to save a few dollars. Very early on, it was very hands-on, and it was very hard to delegate. But as you're doing it enough times, and as Gabby got more comfortable as well, and she understood the flow chart, she understood all the different outcomes, then we can start developing different procedures so we know exactly, like if something happens, I don't need to talk to Gabby about it because I already know that she knows exactly what to do. And she already knows, okay, I'm going to try this, this, and this first. And then if that doesn't work, I'm going to do this. Yeah.
So let's talk about how we actually do it. How do we self-manage our portfolio? Because we do. This is something we adopted right from the get-go, and we figured out the systems. Yeah. I think the biggest, baddest, most important decision that we made in our business to make this doable was a system that we put in place to keep everything online.
Yes.
Like our entire business, our entire system, everything that we do is kept online.
Yes.
Right? And I feel like that was the most important decision because it took a lot of stress and anxiety out of my life. I was a very anxious person back then, dealing with those first few tenants that we had. It was like crippling. Right. And so what I mean by having everything online, well, I mean a few different things. I mean that like all of our communications with our tenants was kept online. One central location. We only communicate with our tenants by email. unless there's an emergency. There's an emergency phone line, but everything is kept online for communication. But also, our business is also online. So having central location for everything that, like every document, everything that we do is all centrally located for ease of keeping everything together, right? So I guess I meant a few different things by that. But the communication with the tenant was being online and through email was the single, like if I could tell anybody, the best thing you can ever do for managing your own portfolio is to communicate only through email.
Yes.
No texts, no phone calls, email only.
Yeah. And then so everything is accessible at any moment on our phone. And I know that sounds kind of ridiculous now because this education almost feels like a year old or 2 years old, which a lot's happened in a year or two with artificial intelligence and things like that. And we have adopted artificial intelligence into almost everything. It's drafting everything for us. There's workflows for everything. There is all of that. Whether you use it or you don't use it, you don't need it, but it certainly does keep things and make things easier, especially when you have everything cloud-based. You can access things very easily and you can use artificial intelligence to be able to create those workflows. But all the leases, all the mortgage statements, all the property tax statements and everything else, being able to grab it quickly on our phone and emailing it to someone when they need it is huge. It's funny, old education when we were getting started, and this, oh my God, it's not that long ago, but it feels like decades ago or in the last century.
Talk about color-coded
duotangs and folders that people used to bring and have in
your filing cabinet. Yeah,
it's so ridiculous. And we still have a filing cabinet where a lot of that stuff is still in there, which is crazy. But it's just taken so long to get it all over to where we need it to. And most of that stuff's old anyways. But having everything all in one central location. And then as we're developing and as we're building, we're developing our own like little systems and procedures for everything. And what we did over time is create templates for responses, templates for lease agreements, templates for questionnaires, templates for email responses, like everything. We have templates for everything. And whether we
ask our students.
Ask our students. Yeah, exactly. Because they're like, hey, do you have a template for this? Yeah, of course we do. Is because whenever a situation happens, we want to just be able to copy paste. That's what we want. We don't want to have to think about all the creative of writing it, how to write it. We send this. And it's not like we have a folder with a template for everything, but like Gabby and I will go back and we'll look at the previous email that we sent to the past person and we'll copy and paste it over there. It's that simple. So you start to develop all these templates, and whether you save them in a folder or not, developing templates and procedures for everything was huge for us. So that we're not spending time thinking about how to do things. We're just copying and pasting, right? And every situation, more or less, in this business is pretty much the same. Now, next, what we did was we created clear guidelines for how to approve tenants. We're not going to be thinking about it anymore. We're just going to know this is the type of tenant.
Do they meet this? Do they meet this? Do they meet this? Check. Okay, approved.
Easy, clear, concise guidelines for approval of tenants so that we're not going back and forth trying to figure out, should we, shouldn't we? No, clear. This way it's a check mark or an X. That simple. Developing that was monstrous. Then what we needed to do was we needed to build a power team that can handle literally anything and everything for repairs, emergency repairs, maintenance, anything. So if at any point something comes up that was unexpected, we literally just click and call that person and they go and deal with it. Great example. Was it yesterday morning or the morning before? We had that water coming down. Okay. Gabby texts the guy. The guy goes down there. He's there. What does he do? Does he call us and be like, oh, should I do this? Should I do this? No, this guy goes and he found more problems and he created more solutions. He called us up or texted you with pictures, said, here's what's going on. I've already went and talked to the neighbor next door. I have to go in through their unit and do this and everything else. He figured it all out. He is a solutions-based individual. That's the kind of people that I love working with, because I don't want to hear that you don't have access to the plumbing and that you have to go to the unit next to you. I want to hear that you already knocked on the door, they already said yes, and they're okay with it, and then you're going to come back this afternoon and take care of it, and they're cool with it, and then we're going to cover all of it. And just, hey, is that okay?
Yeah.
That's what we want,
Yeah.
right? So
And-
building a power team that can handle something like that.
And in my phone contacts, everybody who's a member of our power team, their last name in my contacts is power team. So all I need to do, if I'm like, oh my God, what's our HVAC guy's name?
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of the company because we have a lot of power team members. I just search power team and then they all come up. So it's just a little tip.
It just makes it easy when you've got a team of people you can rely on. I know it sounds silly and basic, but at the same time, it's like if you know how to handle all these situations and who to call, it's a who, not how, right? And for me, I could have, like a lot of these things, I could go down and deal with this. I could go cut that drywall out. I could go deal with, the toilet that's trickling or something like that. And it won't, like, I know how to fix those things. Yeah. But for me to go do it's half a day, and I got to make a bunch of trips and bring a bunch of tools, and I'm going to forget the wrong wrench or the whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's not worth it. It's better to just build out systems and have the right people do it. It's about who, not how, right? And then lastly, this was a huge thing for us because we used to go down and deal with little things, like little things. Yeah. And there's tons of little things. You don't go hire a $90 an hour or $120 an hour plumber to go deal with something like this, or a $120 an hour contractor to go deal with dropping off a furnace filter, right? Yeah. It's little dumb stuff that, like, oh my gosh, or like a viewing. Doing viewings and things like that. Those eat so much of our time up, and doing inspections and things like that. So what we did was...
Especially as you scale.
Absolutely. And
when it's 1, 2, 3, it's not a big deal. But as you scale,
over
it
10,
becomes a big
20,
deal.
30, you're never going to be able to keep up with it. Ever, ever. So what we did was we hired local agents to be able to handle all of the in-person tasks, and we pay them hourly. So when you think about it, property management, fees will range anywhere from 10 to 15% of your rent. Plus, additionally, they're going to charge you lease up fees like finding tenants. They're going to charge you markups on your repairs, and maybe even showing up to court and all those other types of things, right? So there's going to be fees upon fees upon fees on top of it. So if you're like, oh, my PM only charges 10%, I'm like, yeah, they're getting you in fees, right? Yeah. Look at the fine print. But you expect around 15%. So that could be anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 per year. What we developed is systems and procedures for us to be able to do all of this on our own, remotely, never having to go to a property. And our yearly cost is like $300.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the property and what happens that year, and
in
if you have a vacancy or you don't. And
in some years, sometimes zero.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we might buy a property. So we just bought a property. We're going to be taking possession of it in a few weeks. We might spend maybe $200, $300 getting it set up and having people going down there doing viewings and little touch-ups and things like that. But that tenant, if we do things right and they renew next year, that means that we only have to send someone out there once, maybe twice, to go and do a few inspections. And it might cost us $20, $25. You know what I mean? So it might be $50 the following year. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is what I mean. Like, it doesn't cost very much. There's thousands of dollars worth of savings. And if you've got, let's say you've got 20 properties and you're saving $4,000, $5,000 a year, can you do the math for me? 20 times 4,000? Talking about $80,000 to $100,000 worth of savings. And you can 1,000% do this yourself. So if you're looking at it from a strictly monetary thing, it is 1,000% worth it. 1,000% worth it to do this, because I think just the savings alone, you can justify maybe you staying home from work. Maybe this is that one thing. Maybe you're looking at the cash flow and you're like, there's just not enough cash flow. I feel safe about leaving my job. Self-managing alone, the $80,000 to $100,000 worth of savings right there, you can justify staying home. And the amount of time that it takes us to be able to manage our portfolio, not that much. Lately, it's been a little bit more because of the rain. Yes, I will be fully transparent. But most years, most months, it's like nothing. It's maybe an hour or two a week. We'll get like one person who says that, like, my dryer isn't heating up properly. And what do?
Power team.
Call the power team. They
Text
send us,
them.
and we get an email notification next day for an invoice, and it gets paid. Done. You know what I mean? This is not complicated stuff. Most months, most years, it is absolutely nothing, right? Because we build out the right systems and we have responses and templates and procedures for everything. right? Everything is all put in our calendar. It's all automated. And as you grow your portfolio as well, you might even choose to hire a virtual assistant. And maybe your virtual assistant's the person who deals with your emails. And that's what we did. So as we scaled, we hired VAs to be able to handle the day-to-day emails so that we can focus on other things that are more important to us, like building our business or being great parents, right? So depending on you, depending on what scale you're at, there's different stages and different scales. But regardless, we can actually absolutely help you with figuring that out if you're looking for coaches, or if you just want to learn how to go about building out this remote property management system, doing it all remotely, self-managing your properties and never having to go there. We have a course as well. We have a course. Gabby built it. It's called the Remote Property Management Course. It's online. It's got 8 modules. And I'll go through the modules real quick with you guys. Honestly, I think everybody should do it. And I hate that I'm going to put the property management industry out of business because there's no other course out there like this that teaches you these things. Mm-hmm. There's barely any landlord courses out there. And even those are like so basic. It's like, here, this is where you put their name. This is where you put how much rent it is. Like, it's so basic. This takes it, 10x's it to a completely other level so that you can manage as many of your own properties as you want. By the way, managing your own properties, not other people's properties, okay?
Yes.
So 8 modules. First one, mindset shift. Getting over all of that nonsense. You have to believe in yourself and know that you can do this. And here's the type of mindset you need to have in order to take that first step. Then it's setting up your systems and building your local team. That's going to be huge. Making sure that you have that local team and those systems in place to be able to handle anything and everything that comes at you. Then advertising and handling inquiries. Advertising your rental properties, handling those inquiries, those people, is this still available? How do you go through that? How do you pre-screen them? How do you go about setting everything up? Then screening the tenants remotely. You're not going to be able to meet them in person. So you need to be able to learn how to build your systems of how to screen tenants without actually being there. Don't touch applicants. But I'm just saying, being able to screen them, that's a huge fear of how do I know I'm putting the right person in there? Right? Yeah. And we are incredibly successful at screening tenants and having long-term tenants for a long time. Then lease agreements, building out your lease agreement and setting expectations for your tenants. So it's not just about getting them to sign on the line that's dotted and make sure you follow this, but having clear expectations with your tenants about how this all works in living in those quarters, living in our rental unit, making sure that they understand what they're responsible for and what we're responsible for. Mm-hmm. Then move-ins, move-outs, and inspections. So when the tenants move in, how do you do the paperwork? When the tenants move out, how do you do the paperwork? To make sure that if there are any damages or anything needs to be cleaned, you get that money back. And then lastly, doing inspections on a periodic schedule to make sure that, when they moved in, this is what the condition was. We want to make sure that they're taking care of the property while they're living there. We want to make sure that they're not letting things leak. They're not breaking things and those other types of things, so we can handle it efficiently if it needs to be handled. Managing maintenance and repairs. This is, like I told you, there's no other course that covers all this. Managing maintenance and repairs. So when maintenance needs to happen, furnace cleanings, when gutters need to be cleaned, when the hot water tank needs to be drained, when the filter in the dishwasher needs to be changed out, all those types of things. Making sure that all of the components of the house are working properly and making sure they're being maintained so that you get the most longevity out of them so you can save more money, more profits for your investment. And any repairs as well. And then lastly, how to handle late rent, disputes, and
evictions.
Right? How do you handle all of that from your desk or from the park, while little Jimmy's on the swings and you're on your phone? How do you go about doing that? It's scary, but it's doable, right? If you have the right systems and you understand it, everything is completely doable. And you got to have the right attitude too, right? Yeah. Anyways, remote property management course is available on reimasters.ca. Go to our website, reimasters.ca. And for this week only, until Sunday, it's 50% off.
Okay? Sweet.
I hope that you guys enjoyed this week. This week was all about tenants. Mm-hmm. This week was all about being a better landlord, setting up the right systems and things like that. And I feel like this week alone was like a $1,500 course minimum. So if you missed any episodes from this week, go back and listen to them again. You're going to learn so much about how to set up your systems and how to be a better landlord and how to make sure you got the right, advertisement for your lease, for your rental property, how to set up and do things. Maybe you could be saving thousands of dollars also by managing your properties remotely on your own and not paying a property manager, right? Tons and tons of great information this week. I had a lot of fun. Sorry, I'm just looking at the time and I'm trying to wrap things up. That's why I'm talking so fast. We got to go to Vancouver. We got to go. We're leaving on a jet plane right now. And we hate to say goodbye. Leaving on a jet plane.
Oh, I'm not
I hate to wake you up to say goodbye, but I'm not going to ask them to kiss me and smile for me. We will be back on Thursday. No show on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I'm going to try and get a few videos out on YouTube. There's some other stuff that's going on in our business right now that I think is really exciting. So we're going to record some videos while we're away, if we got the time. So make sure that you're subscribed to YouTube. Make sure you get the notifications when new videos come out, so you guys can keep up with what's going on with us and in our business and what's going on in the world of real estate investing. And we will see you guys all back next week.
Thursday.
On Thursday. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
Thanks for listening. Want to be coached personally by Wayne and Gabby? Then you should join the Real Estate Investing Masters Mentorship Program. Details are in the show notes to get started.